Hi viewer, welcome to the Guguyul channel. I would like to start this video off by stating that the things I say aren't factual facts and that everyone has a different perspective on lsrfm as a group. Also, I am not trying to garner sympathy. All I hope is that the idols that I mention in this video do well and improve to be better and hopefully gain more confidence. That's all. Before becoming a K-pop idol, Sakura Miyawaki was a part of the Japanese idol industry. Sakura joined the group HKT48 back in 2011 when she was 13, but more known as a member of AKB48 back in the days. Some people say, Sakura has been in the entertainment industry for 13 years. How are her vocals still so weak? That's true, but remember that J-pop and K-pop are very different.
K-pop has a variety of different concepts which listeners can discover, such as girl crush, teen crush, old school, folk and more. Different concepts call for different vocal ranges and technique that suits the theme, and the idol's capabilities. But as for J-pop, most of the J-pop groups are all the same type of music, cutesy type of feel. Japan is known for their cute and innocent image, especially with the characters they trademark like Sanrio. That's probably why K-pop groups go for that vibe in their music.
With the cutesy concept in mind, they are expected to sing in high pitches. With this specific way of how their voices are trained, Sakura was taught how to sing in a nasally tone that suits a shrill and hyper song that doesn't go very low. I'm not too familiar with music notes and ranges, though. If you'd like to educate me in the comments, feel free to. Sakura joining Produce 48 was a huge step for Sakura and her career. It's clear she wasn't ready to go from the J-pop to K-pop industry, but she still joined anyway without the proper training needed. It was still surprising to me that she made it. She wasn't the worst at singing and she was a really good dancer, but it was obvious that she needed more time to practice. But in my opinion, between her and the rest of the as1 members, she was the weakest vocally. After 2 years of being in as1, she debuted in Source Music's group lsrfm, and this was just the drop of the top of a roller coaster. This wasn't just a big change from the previous two concepts, her debut in as1 was a preparation for this. When lsrfm debuted with the song Fearless, I could tell that Sakura and the group already gained popularity right off the bat. Blue Flame was well received, Anti-Fragile was life-changing. But it was in the first half of 2024 when people started to turn against them. This era was when everything nice for them began to rapidly decline. The date released to this album being released was on February 19, 2024. The first issue that came to them in this era was the setting of the music video. They recorded the music video in a church. People thought it was insanely disrespectful of them to dance in a church, especially in revealing clothing. I'm pretty split about this. I myself think it's wrong to do so, but the specific spot they filmed it was a popular spot where scenes of movies were shot at. But I think this was a big cheer for haters, since they thought they found a reason to hate. And with that, it came another issue, lsrfm's live encore. From what I saw, the people said K1 and Yoonjin was carrying the live vocals, but they talked down on the others, especially Sakura. She was hated because she was a supposed experienced idol, like I said. But she was apparently the worst at carrying the live encores. But I did mention it earlier, and she was trained differently as a J-pop idol. I personally think that the vocal coaches they hire aren't doing a good job to do their only job. No offense. Plus, I'm pretty sure it's obvious by now, these days, visuals over vocals, but I think using that as an excuse to drag them through hell is absurd. Criticism is okay, but hating is something entirely different and should stop being normalized. These comments didn't leave, and got worse especially after the April 2024 Coachella shows. Complaints about them doing the shittiest job at attempting to sound good while singing live started to circulate. In my most honest opinions, this could be avoided if whoever agreed for them to have a show at the biggest music festival to wait a little longer. They quite obviously weren't ready to handle out a show with close to thousands of people watching. If you watched and listened to their singing in Coachella, you could somewhat hear them trying to hype up the crowd while singing. Their unstable voices was the result of being thrilled, and the audience at that time didn't seem to mind but was. The demographic of this video was to come to Sakura's defense. But I also mentioned that the other members received the same backlash. You might remember, they had released a documentary talking about the hardships they face being in the idol industry. But some of the responses I saw directed at Kura had no sympathy at all. Instead, They said that Sakura was just crying on the documentary to make haters look bad, and all I could say was what? You couldn't show at least a little bit of understanding in what Sakura's facing. They didn't even feel bad for what they made her feel and go through. Of course a normal human would cry or feel somewhat bad thinking about the nasty words they receive from anonymous people. Sakura isn't some invincible robot who can only smile and feel happy. She has her own feelings and has the right to cry in front of a camera. If someone cries on camera doesn't immediately transform them into a pick-me or trying to gain validation. Geez. Last thing before I leave, they made this documentary to show their experiences, as I said. They didn't film the whole thing expecting to gain respects of people who used to hate them. Y'all who use the girls' works, songs, presence or overall existence to hate and hate makes me lose faith in humanity. I argue that everyone isn't perfect and idols struggles as much as the next person. Thank you.